Imagine yourself in an awkward situation. Everyone around is laughing, the atmosphere is light, and you feel a bit out of place. You want to say something funny, but you don't know how to do it. It happens. If so, don't worry, it's fixable. Perhaps you just haven't realized yet that a sense of humor is a skill that can be developed, and the most interesting thing is that you can learn it quite quickly if you know the right approach. Let's imagine you are sitting in a circle of friends. The conversation is going on and suddenly someone tells a joke that makes everyone burst out laughing. What if this time it were you? A sense of humor is not just the ability to make people laugh, it is the ability to see the world from a different angle, bringing lightness and positivity to everyday situations. When you learn to joke, you not only improve your mood, but also become the center of attention. People start to be drawn to you, and that is an incredible social bonus. So, if you want to make your life brighter and make more friends, developing a sense of humor is a great way. In this video, I will explain how exactly this can be done, and don't worry, you don't need to be a born comedian for this, it's all quite achievable. No one will require you to get on stage with a microphone and impersonate your favorite stand-up comedians. However, if everything goes too well, who knows, you might have to consider that as well. To develop a sense of humor, it is important to understand how it works. Humor is the ability to see the funny side of settled situations. Wordplay, unusual twists of thought, or unexpected comparisons. People who know how to joke often notice the little things that others overlook. It is on these little things that a good joke is built. You should start with observation. Look around you. How often do you notice something that might seem absurd or funny? One way to develop humor is to learn to see the world a little differently. For example, when you find yourself in an unpleasant situation, try to ask yourself what might be funny about it. Let's consider a simple example. You are in a supermarket and your cart suddenly starts behaving like a naughty child. It goes off in one direction and then bumps into the shelves. And at that moment, one could feel upset, or one could smile and think that this is the perfect scenario for a scene in a comedy. If you learn to pay attention to such small details, your sense of humor will begin to develop on its own. All you need to do is activate your observance and learn to find the funny in everyday life. Humor comes in different forms, and it is important to understand which style resonates with you. There are several main styles that you can develop. Sarcasm. One of the most popular types of humor, it is wit based on the contrast to what has been said. People who master sarcasm can notice the absurdity of a situation and make ironic remarks about it. For example, if someone is late to a meeting, you can smile and say, "Well, you finally made it just in time for the start." Of course, it is important to use sarcasm carefully so as not to offend someone, but when delivered correctly, it is a very powerful tool for jokes. Situational humor. It is the ability to quickly notice funny moments right on the spot. People who master this style can instantly react to the events around them and deliver jokes that are perfectly suited to the situation. This often happens when you are chatting with friends, and someone says something funny or ridiculous. You then immediately add another detail that makes the conversation even more enjoyable. Absurd humor. This is a style often used in films or shows where logic takes a back seat, and events become ridiculous and unexpected. Such humor may seem strange, but that is precisely where its comedic value lies. Imagine a typical household situation unfolding in a completely illogical way. For example, a person opens the refrigerator, and instead of food, there is a cat sitting there with a laptop. This style of humor is generally loved by those who appreciate surprise and surrealism. Wit and wordplay. This is one of the most universal types of humor. It is the ability to quickly and accurately point out ironic and funny moments in conversation. For example, a person says, "I went for a run this morning," and you respond, "Are you talking about your thoughts that you can't catch up with?" Wit requires good reaction and listening skills, but it is one of the most effective forms of humor. When you start to understand which style is closer to you, it becomes easier to joke and feel confident in humorous situations. One of the most effective ways to learn something new is to learn from the best. In humor, this rule works 100%. Watch stand-up comedians, comedy shows, and read humorous books. The more you observe how professionals deliver jokes, the more you begin to understand how it works. For example, take comedian Louis C.K. He masterfully tells stories about everyday problems, making them funny and relatable to everyone. Louisa has the ability to take ordinary, seemingly boring moments of life and turn them into funny and easily relatable stories. His ability to talk about complex and even taboo topics with humor teaches that there are no limits to comedy if the right approach is found. Try analyzing his performances. What makes his jokes funny? Which moments are particularly successful? How does he interact with the audience? These observations will help you not only develop your own sense of humor, but also understand how to joke naturally and confidently. Any skill requires practice, and a sense of humor is no exception. One of the best ways to learn to joke is simply to start trying. Begin small, joke among friends, at work, and in family conversations. The more you try, the faster you will start to understand what works and what doesn't. Don't be afraid of unsuccessful jokes. Yes, not every joke can be successful, but it is through mistakes that you can develop your craft. It is important to remember that every successful comedian started with mistakes and awkward moments. Humor is always a game where hitting the target is not guaranteed, but the main thing is to keep playing. Try keeping a joke diary. When a funny thought or situation comes to your mind, write it down. Over time, you will accumulate a whole arsenal of your own jokes that you can use in suitable moments. Humor is not just about the stage or conversations with friends, it is a tool that can be used in any situation. It can help you cope with stress, resolve conflicts, or simply improve your mood. For example, if you are struggling with something at work or in your personal life, instead of getting upset, try to look at it with humor. Perhaps this mistake will become a great story for a funny tale in the future. The ability to laugh at oneself is one of the strongest qualities that makes a person more attractive in the eyes of others. Humor also helps to establish social connections. When you can make people laugh, they start to feel more comfortable around you. This creates an atmosphere of trust and openness, making humor an excellent tool for improving communication. Comedic techniques have cultural characteristics, and sometimes what provokes laughter in one culture may be completely incomprehensible in another. For example, British comedy often relies on irony and sarcasm, while American comedy is more focused on slapstick situations and light jokes. If you want to become a true master of the comedy genre, it is important to understand these differences and be able to adapt. Moreover, it is important to remember that different situations require different types of comedic techniques. Humor at work, for example, should be more restrained than jokes among friends. Comedic comments can also help to smooth over tense moments in difficult conversations, such as family arguments. One well-timed comment can relieve tension and facilitate dialogue. Many people are afraid to joke because they are not sure they will be understood correctly. The fear of being rejected or being the center of attention can block your ability to joke. However, it is important to remember that humor always involves risk. Sometimes a joke won't work, and that's okay. The main thing is confidence. When you joke, do it with the belief that your joke is really good. Confidence is half of success. Even if a joke doesn't elicit a burst of laughter, people will feel your lightness and positive attitude. Thus, humor is not just fun, but also a powerful tool for improving the quality of life. By developing a sense of humor, you learn to see the brighter, more joyful side of things, which makes you a lighter and more attractive conversational partner. When was the last time you laughed at yourself? And how did it help you cope with a difficult situation? What styles of humor resonate with you and why? Humor is a powerful tool that can be developed. It makes your life brighter and communication with people easier and more joyful. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new jokes and styles. Remember that a sense of humor is not something that is given only to the chosen few. It is a skill that can be developed if you put in a lot of effort and desire. If you have your own ways to develop a sense of humor, share them in the comments. What style of humor do you like the most? Write about it in the comments. Goodbye, everyone.